choice for tonight. A couple of weeks ago I was listening to Don Moshe Khan reading, and there was a guy heckling him from the back. And some weeks before that there was a Tom McCarthy heckling some concrete. I wrote a poem about hecklers.
Just trying to hold on to the camera.
Not that we're right, but hecklers is the name of this one. It's more or less about the freedom of speech, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So, hecklers. Here I was thinking that all in my garden was rosy, and that everything around me was comfortable and cosy, when just within earshot came what sounded like sour grapes, from grown men, educated, but what seemed like to be acting like apes. If this is what's on offer, then things must be bad. But when I was doing this, there wasn't a space to be had. I replied from my seat, if you think you're so bloody great, why let things stop you and get you into such a state? If all you are here for is to criticise and moan, would you not be better off just staying at home? But alas, no retort from either of the two. A little redness about both cheeks. Have I said something true? Here I am thinking rosy is my garden, yet there are some who would see my thoughts just hardly, with comments from the rear because you don't like some stuff. It's an open mic, man, for God's sake, don't get in a huff.
I like that.
If you have something to say by way of a reply, write it, recite it, come up, give it a try. Anyone can show up from the back of the room and slate somebody with impending doom. The best way to get your point across is calm, cool, without getting cross. I too have an opinion, but you won't hear me shout. You'll hear it from the mic. That's what mine is all about. For if I can take a slagging right on my ear, my reply will be the same from the mic, have no fear. Our differences make each one of us unique. It doesn't mean we have to treat those we don't like as a freak. So argue, discuss, converse and try and talk. But if you talk the talk, then you better walk the walk. Not hide your comments from the back of the hall. Face up, eyes front, and the mic is your call. No holds barred, there's a table to cling on. We're all entitled to voice our own opinion. And this one is for yes or whatever it is. Hello, yes. What price freedom? When Barney asked us to write something about freedom in Syria and all the goings on, I researched it on the web and I thought, for God's sake, this is too much fucking information. So I just sat down and wrote this. I don't know if you like it, but I'll read it. What price freedom? What price do you put on being free to choose? In all that we have, would we be willing to lose? For if you happen to be born in Syria, in the Middle East, freedom has a hefty price, and it's neither famine nor feast. On one hand you have Bashar al-Assad lying through his teeth, saying change will take time, but he's not willing to meet. Yet in 1962, the Hasaka census counted 120,000 Kurds, and then made them carry cards stamped foreigner in big words. And still the people of Syria are not free. Tyranny and dictatorship is the only thing we see. What price freedom when you're being ruled by fear? Hamas or Ba'ath, their rulings are not clear, but they resign in protest at the strict regime while stamping out free will wherever it's seen. So far this year, more than 400 people are dead, and the rest of Syria is still living in dread. Tanks and guns are the peacekeepers now. The United Nations answer? Sanctions, somehow. The Americans, it appears, have their own agenda. It doesn't look like it's for tourists or the scenic splendor. Syrian people become numbers and statistics on the news, surrounded by reporters and camera crews, who all have their minders so that they don't get hurt. Foreigners, reporters, or Syrian nationals. What's it worth? A beautiful country with excellent sights. I know, I once looked down upon it from the Golan Heights. In Damascus, there is now no such thing as having fun, as soldiers advance, and families have to run, surrounding villages and towns in their path, and all in all this, dispensing government wrath. The price of freedom, I think, is when our world leaders lie. Syrian army takes aim, fellow countrymen and women die. Marhaba, marhaba, ki falat mabsoot. The people of Syria deserve choice, freedom and truth.
I bet you don't know to be such talent in the Whitehouse. The Whitehouse, of course, is the creator of talent. It's the origins of talent. And for those in the world that want to steal this talent from us to put it somewhere else, we'll go to bloody I get after you when I win my flu. Now I want to give you a very warm welcome, please, to Nora Muldowney. Thank you very much.
My mother, Eva, Martine and Bertha, Paul, Christine, Nedron and Yasser. Freedom is when I wake with no blood on my bed, walls unbroken, windows unsmashed. Freedom is when I see my child in my arms. Freedom is when I see my husband in my bed. No more freedom, just hysteria. A prisoner in my own surroundings, poor Syria. Bullets, crying children and bombs exploding. The only freedom I have is when I'm asleep. Dreaming of the landscape, fields golden green, arid desert my home. No more till now, but time will come. God help these people exploding their bombs. Syria is just my space. Leave this place alone. Stop damaging our home. Freedom coming, it must be. Stop with this unforgiving tragedy. Thank you.
I want to invite up to our post up here in the White House. I think it's for the first time ever. And then you saw the France from Provence, who's left her microphone on. Sheila, participate, please. Thank you very much.
Written by the inmates of Guantanamo Bay, and I was shocked and upset, and it inspired me to write this. I can't even give it a title. Yesterday is today. Today is tomorrow. Sitting shackled soils the soul. Now I'm a freedom fighter, fighting for my own existence. 5 years ago, shopping for spice at my village market, I was marked. 3 masked men, strangers, warned me. They did not show their faces, cowards. No smiles light my life. No love warms me in this dead man's land of no return. I have to dig deep into my heart and soul to find a reason, a God, and a vestige of hope. If I were a Christian, I would have to forgive these men of violence. But now it's my need to retaliate that keeps me breathing.
Well done.
The next one is about one's personal freedom, and anybody who has suffered from depression might understand it. The woman looks in the mirror. The woman looks in the mirror. Every morning she presents herself as she searches to invent the woman she will be today. Many personae reflect as she hungrily drinks from her own well of identities. She is an edge of the perfected woman anointed by Sylvia Plath. The woman plucks from the pots of foundation the colours she will mix to match her mind, and she fixes her base with bland bonding, a fine powder alabaster white. The penciled brows and the penciled lips are the frame for the eyes and expression, or lack of expression. The eyes are bathed in colour, or maybe nude. It depends on who she is, or thinks she is, today. It's called The Land of the She.
Yeah, go on.
We're a strange lot, us Irish.
Oh.
The O'Rahilly wrote, Thou art not conquered yet, dear land. We're a strange lot, pushing forward, but forever looking back. Rooted in the land of the She, we dance to the whisper of wings and revel in the fairy fort. One step forward, one step back. Kneeling to a supernatural presence, accepting a host of fairies with the same enduring superstition, the same notion informing our beginning. Trees, apples, and demons, and the languid woman devouring the creation and transforming the garden into a wilderness. Thou art not conquered yet, dear land. Thank you.
We are, ladies and gentlemen, Sheila Wed.4th May from the province of the south of France. Give her another second word. We do hope, Sheila, the next time you come to Ireland here, I'd like everybody to know that when you go to the province of the south of France, that Sheila has a similar setup to the Irish club here, to the Whitehouse club here in Limerick.
Very good.
So if you go down to the province, she'll tell us the name of the pub as well.
We can all go to Sheila's.
Yeah, it's Tom Maloney earlier. Marion Cordy made a very interesting proposition there earlier when she said, at least our thoughts are free. Now I think that's actually problematic, because if you're a structuralist, you would argue that language, which forms thoughts, is made in your culture, so that there's a big issue there. Now at the same time, creativity can potentially take you into a free land, and so for that reason, my first poem is called Myxomatosis in Rabbits is a Disease. And it has nothing to do with the poem. So that's the title. Let us record on this page, dear poem, the waiting in your voice to rise up still. Here in the silence, I see the branches, and through them the light of morning breaks, and in the village the chapel bell rings out the moment of this present truth. As always now, calling lovers to untangle, to face the orchestration of today. Good carpe diem. Right now, stand up and everywhere recite the mantra of democracy, as old as ancient Greece, and like brothers stepping from the polis, let us shake each other's hands, be equal in the eyes of every man, and dare to listen to our hearts. Bearing witness to all of this, I hear old freedom lowing in the far-off hills, and to the west the graves of those we love, as they join in, rise up in spirit. We bear in mind that they are our own kind, and since they live through us, we show our love, our loss reigniting the naked flame, ever filling the valley of past despair, injustice, the apprenticeship of every day, for every man who toils to be free. What's more, acknowledge their just grief, and with our heads held firm for the cause, march with the morning star to our new Jerusalem. I tried a villanelle at the weekend. It's called War Dream, where soldiers think that they have the right to kill, defying orders from the head of state. Their actions seem to sanction some done deal. Those stories lie on the side of every hill. Around the mountains grass grows day and night, where soldiers think that they have the right to kill. One way to drop is simply while you're still, writing more lines, knowing well it's getting late. Their actions seem to sanction some done deal. The thoughts going through your head cause you to feel you're caught as victim in another's fight, where soldiers think that they have the right to kill. The curlews warn nature with a shrill, as racing clouds confirm its fight or flight. Their actions seem to sanction some done deal. No matter how you toss or blink or will, with words you raise for justice sake to right, where soldiers think that they have the right to kill, their actions seem to sanction some done deal.